Margaret had never liked silence. Her home was lovely, filled with family photos and warm furniture. Yet when her husband Richard left for a 3-week business trip, the house felt hollow. Richard was steady, reliable, always the one to keep things in order. Without him, the room seemed too big, the air too still. She thought the time would pass with books, cooking, maybe a few visits with friends. But within 2 days, the walls pressed in. The quiet beat against her heart like a restless drum. Then the phone rang. Her daughter's voice came in a rush. The house was under renovation, tools and dust everywhere. Could Margaret watch 10-year-old Ethan for a few days? Relief bloomed in her chest. Of course, she said, her voice brighter than it had been in weeks. Ethan was talkative, playful, endlessly curious. His energy would fill the silence. But instead of keeping him in her quiet suburban home, Margaret chose something different. She booked a small seaside hotel in Maine, a place she and Richard had visited years ago. It wasn't grand, but it had charm. White wooden walls, windows that opened to the sea, and a lobby that smelled of coffee and salt air. She told herself it was for Ethan, a little adventure for him. Secretly, she longed for it too. The drive up the coast was long but refreshing. Ethan chattered from the back seat about superheroes, the sea, and the lighthouses they passed. Margaret smiled at his excitement, though her thoughts often wandered to memories of earlier trips with Richard, back when their conversations were full of laughter and plans. Those days felt far away now, replaced by routines and quiet evenings. She shook the thought aside and focused on Ethan's joy. At the hotel, Ethan raced to the fireplace with his toy car while Margaret checked them in. That was when she noticed him. Across the lobby, a man sat in a leather chair with a book resting in his hand. Late 50s, perhaps early 60s, his hair brushed with grey. He carried himself with a calm stillness that seemed both present and distant. Their eyes met for only a moment, yet something inside her stirred. She turned quickly back to Ethan, brushing off the feeling. Their room was cozy, with a balcony that opened to the sea. Ethan bounced on the bed, laughing, while Margaret unpacked. She pulled the curtains wide, letting the ocean air drift in. The sound of waves filled the room, and for the first time since Richard had left, she felt something spark inside her. This trip wasn't just for Ethan, it was for her too. That evening, over dinner, Ethan filled the table with stories of school and soccer, his face lit with excitement. Margaret listened with love, but her eyes strayed across the room. The man from the lobby sat alone at a corner table, eating soup. There was something about his solitude that echoed in her own heart. She wondered, just for a moment, if he too carried a quiet loneliness. Later, after Ethan had fallen asleep, Margaret stepped onto the balcony. The night stretched wide, stars glimmering above the black water. She wrapped her cardigan tight and let the wind brush her face. She thought of Richard, his steadiness, his dependable love. She was grateful for him, for their life together. Yet her mind wandered back to the stranger in the lobby. She didn't know his name, only that she had noticed him, and that unsettled her.